to the Tranont Compliance Training. I'm Emily Peterson, the Director of Compliance for Tranont. This training is talking about financial freedom and the claims that you can make instead of using the words financial freedom, but you can convey the same information, the same kind of feeling of success as financial freedom, because unfortunately the term financial freedom is one that regulatory agencies, including the FTC and the Competition Bureau of Canada, have determined is deceptive and misleading. That includes related phrases like time freedom. They just feel that it's not okay to use in the industry anymore. Unfortunately, it used to be, 8-10 years ago, it was a term. They were terms that were fine in the industry. However, it's no longer the case. But this training is going to show you some of the options that you have to convey the same information, kind of the same feeling of success without using those terms, financial freedom, time freedom, other ones that the regulatory agencies are going to say are not allowed. So here's an example. My Tranont business has given me time freedom and financial freedom to do more of what I want. Obviously, those terms we can't use, but you can change that to say my effort is paying off. Because of the work I put into my Tranont business, I now have more time and more freedom to do more of what I want. You're going to emphasize that you're putting effort, you're putting the work in, and you have more time, more freedom to do what you want. So you're conveying that same feeling of success, that same feeling of what this business can do for you without using those phrases the regulatory agencies say are not allowed. Here's another example. So beyond thrilled today since I learned my amazing friend Elsie is ranked as a diamond in Tranont. She inspires me to work towards the same financial freedom that she has achieved. This is a great post to recognize your leader, to give them their flowers for ranking as a diamond. That is an incredible achievement. However, using that financial freedom is not going to be allowed. So change that to say, so beyond thrilled today since I learned my amazing friend Elsie is ranked as a diamond in Tranont. She inspires me to work towards the same work-life balance that she has achieved. You can convey the same information, that same feeling of success, that same thing you want to aspire to without using the term financial freedom that is not permitted. Here's another one. Tranont has been adding sprinkles to the deals they have been giving. Just dropped today. New associates only. Remember, no sales goals, no pressure. Work at your own pace. Pick the number you want. Work towards it. Message me ASAP. Say yes to financial freedom. That is a really great post, except for those last two words, especially that middle paragraph I really like. Talking about there's no sales goals, no pressure, you work at your own pace, you're not putting a lot of pressure on someone. They can come in, they can feel, like they can do it. They can feel like it's something they can do because of the information in that middle paragraph. But that financial freedom term is not going to work for you. But change that to say, message me ASAP, say yes to your future. That's what they want. People want to be able to look towards the future, to be positive, to look to be able to things they can achieve because of the business, the opportunity that Tranont can offer. So changing financial freedom to talk about your future is going to be a great change. Keep the post inspirational, and it's going to be just as successful without using a term that regulatory agencies are going to come after. Here's another one with several kind of examples. When you're part of Tranont, you have the opportunity to replace your full-time income, build leadership skills and abilities, share products that address real medical conditions, be a part of the inspiring Live Where You Live culture, build relationships with others who want to have financial and time freedom. As you can see in red, there's a few issues with this one. It's a really great post, very inspirational, really enticing, but we need to make a few tweaks to it in order to have it be compliant. So instead of talking about replacing your full-time income, talking about owning your own business. Instead of talking about addressing real medical conditions, that's going to be considered a medical claim by regulatory agencies, talk about sharing top quality and effective products. And then instead of talking about financial and time freedom, switch that to talk about people who are invested in health, wellness, and giving back. You want to build relationships with people who are interested in those things. Those are incredibly important to Tranont. So if you make those changes to the post to remove those claims the regulatory agencies are going to have an issue with, change it to like you see there on the right, and you're going to have a compliant post. Here's another example. We're all on a lifelong journey to feel better in our bodies and build more financial freedom. That's not a trend, it's real life. Wellness and wealth are not going out of style. That is why I share Tranont. Once again, a really great post sharing what is so important to Tranont, so important to our associates. But you make the changes there to say we're all on a lifelong journey to feel better in our bodies and to feel more freedom to do the things we love. It's not a trend, it's real life. Wellness and wealth are not going out of style. That is why I share Tranont. It's a business I can work from my phone while still spending time with my family. That's a great addition to talk about, that you can do the business from your phone. It gives you that kind of freedom. Once again, we like that, but we're not going to say financial freedom. We're just going to talk about how working the business from your phone, you can still spend time with your family. You're going to the soccer games, you're going to the dance practice, you're going to all those things with your family, but you're not using that phrase, financial freedom, that once again, regulatory agencies hate. Here's another example. I'm so excited to be part of the community that supports each other in achieving better health, financial freedom, and personal growth. Whether it's improving my wellness, helping others with their goals, or just learning along the way, I can't wait to see where the Tranont journey takes me. Once again, that financial freedom is a no-no, but change that to be living life on our own terms. I'm so excited to be part of our community that supports each other in achieving better health, living life on our own terms, and personal growth. That little switch there is almost more inspirational, because financial freedom can kind of, what does that exactly mean? But living life on your own terms is almost more powerful, I think, to convey that information and get somebody interested in, I want to live life on my own terms. So with that change, you can make a really powerful post and stay away from a phrase that regulatory agencies do not approve. One more. My favorite thing about working with Tranont is the financial and time freedom it gives me. I love the time I'm able to spend with my family. As we know, financial freedom, time freedom, no. But change that to my favorite thing about working with Tranont. It allows me to balance my work with living my life. I love the time I'm able to spend with my family. That little change there, conveying that same information, talking about how much it's doing for you to balance out working and living your life. So that little change is going to make your post compliant and is going to keep it just as powerful. So if you do have any questions about what you can say related to financial freedom, time freedom, related kind of claims like that, or any claims, you can always contact me at compliance@tranont.com, and I'm happy to answer your questions. Thank you.